Broadcasting live, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning. Are we on, Paul? There we go. Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. I am your host, Honest Abe, broadcasting from Boynton Beach, Florida, with my trusty cohorts, the Italian scallion himself, Paul DeGracco, and
Yo.
Southpaw from South Philly, Alex Tavella.
What's happening?
400th episode. Who would have ever thought?
It is pretty crazy,
huh?
man.
Big number.
You know, it's nuts because you figure 400 breaks down to, honestly, with 52 weeks a year, about 8 years, but we're like at 10 years with a lot of breaks and lost weeks and stuff like that. But man, what a road to 400. And normally we would have been somewhere, we would have been some cigar shop doing a big celebration like we did for 300, but
Right.
with COVID going on and everything, we'll just have to do it. Hopefully in 2021, we'll have a 400 party makeup episode somewhere.
I want a cake, damn
It's
it.
interesting. I don't know if is Coop coming later? Is he coming on?
Yes.
Hopefully. He posted an interesting stat. We're in like a company of like 4. There's like 4 people that have made it to an episode 400 of a cigar type podcast.
I mean,
we're in a late company.
Longevity wise, we got to be second or third as far as time, but episode wise, I think eventually we'll get slaughtered because Coop's got to be on the road to 4,000.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, seriously, Coop's got to be on the road to 4,000. I mean, we do one a week.
Right.
Well,
there's probably Coop and then the rest of the pack.
Right. So, what do you guys got? Anything planned for Thanksgiving? We got a bunch of lockdowns everywhere, and it's crazy.
We are going to drive to South Carolina and go to my father-in-law's house because there's only like 7 of us going. So we're gonna chance it and go.
There's
up
only
there.
7 of us going to Thanksgiving. You mean?
Yeah. There'll be 7 people at Thanksgiving. I know they're saying keep it to 10 or under, so we'll be under 10.
But you're traveling interstate, doing exactly what they're saying not to do.
Right.
I mean, what are you gonna do, man? At this point, you got to live your life. I spent 3 months up in New York quarantining away from the rest of the world, and finally back here in South Florida. None of the family's around to help us out. My parents were here for a few weeks. They just flew back actually, so they're breaking the rules too. But they're in New York's weird because you got to take a COVID test before you leave, 3 days before you fly. Then when you land there, 4 days after you land, you have to take another COVID test so you don't have to quarantine for 14 days. It's getting a little Gestapo-y over there. That's all I'll say.
Gestapo-y.
I mean, even for me.
I love the governor of California who got caught at French Laundry.
At French Laundry, how great is that?
Nice. Alex was the one that told me that, and then I looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, he publicly apologized.
Oh yeah, he had to. At least he got a good meal. I mean, if you're going to go out, you might as well go big. Don't get caught at like In-N-Out.
Right.
Mask on.
If you're gonna break your own rules, at least
You might as well break them big.
Right. He didn't get caught at In-N-Out Burger.
Right.
But that was funny. We got a great show today, man. One of my literally oldest and dearest friends in the industry, Jonathan Drew, will be on today, people. Talk about what's going on with JD and some cool stuff they got coming up. And we got a great prize pack, which Jonathan will show you when he comes on. If not,
he's got it with him. He was showing us before.
Yes.
Good.
It actually looks. Listen, not to disparage any of the pictures that have been taken of it and shown. It looks way nicer when you'll see when he holds it up.
Does.
Yeah,
Yes,
but Alex and I were both like, "Oh, holy shit, that's like good stuff." So you'll see, it's really nice stuff.
So what we're going to do today is, thanks to JD and the fine folks at Drew Estate, we're going to give away 3 of these packages during the show today, if you're watching. So
Awesome.
What we got throughout this show at 3 times, we're going to ask some KMA trivia questions, see who are really the hardcore fans. Now, I'm going to let Paul be the judge because I know comments show up like in weird order, but it's how Paul sees it. So the first person that'll get it right will get the package, and we'll do that 3 times throughout the show. So it'll give you guys and loyal listeners and fans an opportunity to win some very awesome swag from JD and the fine folks over at Drew Estate.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just
Very
checking
cool.
my questions because I was like, oh shit, do I have all the answers?
I got the questions. I'll ask them. I got them.
Before we move on, I need to take a moment.
Okay.
I promised I would. I mentioned these guys last week, the baseball team.
The Mustangs.
The Mustangs. I need to congratulate the Diamond Dream Mustangs, who last week won the South Florida Fall Classic 55 and over division. And
Wow.
currently, right now, those guys are currently playing again over at 15 Park for the championship of the 50 and over league. So these guys might go, 2-0 this year for championships, and I'll wind up hanging another picture at the wall in Smoking West Palm. So
Wow. Fancy.
Mustangs, let's win another one.
Here's to the Mustangs. I tell you what, those guys are really a hell of a group of guys too, man. They really are. Living life. Good for them.
Living life. Great guys. I mean, they come to the shop on a Friday night, which is like hip hop night. And again, this is like 55 and older crew. And they have the best of time. They don't care. We don't care. They're partying. Just a great group of guys. And drink like fish.
And drink like.
And then go play baseball the next day.
I can barely drink and get up the next day these days.
Right.
Yeah,
Let alone go play like a real baseball game.
I couldn't do it, but I got to meet these guys, man. I got to get down there to West Palm. That used to be my home base when I lived over there. That store, before I even met Abe, I used to go to that store before you renovated it and moved to the new space. That was my hangout spot. But I want to interrupt for a second, and this is a little weird because Abe doesn't know that we're doing this. But in honor of our 400th episode, I know that we're not actually somewhere and we don't have a cake to celebrate with. We're not all together right now. But the team and I put together a little kind of like slideshow video that we want to show right now. So with your permission, Abe, I'm going to show
Yeah,
that
man.
video.
Yeah. Shoot away.
All right, here it comes. Here's the 400, everybody. And there we go.
Well done. Thank
I'm
you.
a,
Did you?
I'm a little glassy-eyed.
I was hoping.
Little-
I was hoping.
little-
Yeah.
Well done, Brian. Thank you.
Jeez. Wow, man. That brought up a lot of memories, man. Wow.
Abe is actually really a little glassy-eyed.
I am. I got a little glassy-eyed, man. I'm telling you. Holy cow. You don't. I mean, first off, I mean, Jesus. You can see me fat, thinner, fat, thinner, fat, thinner, fat, thinner throughout the whole video. But man, forgot about all the things, man. The time's gone by so fast, and just all the cool things we've done, the cool people we've talked to, the awesome people that we've had the opportunity of working with, even. And I tell you, once this crap is over, we are going to throw a big ass 400th party, and we're going to try to get everybody around, and we will celebrate this proper. But thank you guys. I didn't even know you guys did that. So that was pretty badass.
I spent more time finding the music because I wanted to find the music that invoked that emotion. So for me, it's been an honor to be a part of this thing, and yeah, it's a really really fun experience. The people that we've met, the fans are unlike any other place, and I've done off-Broadway shows, I've done stand-up, I've done radio in other markets. This is something unlike I've ever been a part of before. So it means a lot to me, and thank you to Abe and Alex for being on the journey with me as well.
Well, Paul, as much as I bust your balls, as long as I'm in this mood, I gotta say, man, me finally talking you into taking this job.
Which you did. You had to.
I literally had to. Paul just would not make a decision. I think it's been the best thing for the show, man. I mean, I really do. You've been a great addition. You've been the yin to my yang since you came on the show. And you know what's the best thing about that video, man? Just look at how much fun everybody was having. I mean, it was just everybody was having a really good time. And that's always what we've been about, having a good time, trying to reenact what goes on in cigar lounges and having fun Saturday mornings. And I think we did a good job of doing that for 10 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So with that said, on our big 400th episode, we have a guest worthy of such
Absolutely.
of such a big episode. And it's Abe, is it his second time on the show that I've seen?
I believe it's his second time. It may be his third time, but literally, I think John was one of the first 5 people. I mean, like literally, because when we started, I had to go to my friends, so
Yeah.
John.
Here's the thing. From what I've come to learn about John is he'll remember what show he was on.
Well, we'll ask him. Let me do his little intro here.
stuff.
Let me do his little intro here. From a beat-up office in Dumbo to one of the most influential cigar companies in the entire world, Jonathan Drew and Marvin Sammel literally took the cigar industry by storm. And here with us today on KMA Talk Radio, Jonathan Drew, ladies and gentlemen.
There he is.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
John, do you remember what episode you were originally on?
Shit, I heard the big intro that I remember everything, and now I feel a little.
I put him on the spot.
I know that it was definitely within the first 5. So my memory, if I had to take a guess, I would say that we were like the second or third. Me and Mark, I think, came in together.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
We'll find out.
yeah, but it was even the. Look, Kiss My Ash is more than a show. There's a lot of shows that have come on, a week. They do it once, they do it 2 times, 5 times. Kiss My Ash has become an institution in the programming of good cigar programming and of quality. It's fun and it's funny. So, whether it's 400 or when you get to 500, 700, God willing, you shall out. It's going to go on all through. The quality of each step of the way has been beautiful, and you've really enlightened so many people about the world of cigars and the various brands that you guys, fuck with. So, it's a blessing, man. Congratulations to your team and to the institution. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, JD, man. It's been a hell of a ride. And I tell you what, man, we started out doing this just for fun and never thought it would last this long, but hell, it didn't. I got to tell you, man, what makes our show is our fans. We got awesome fans. We got hardcore KMA Nation, the KMA crew, as we like to call them. And they keep us inspired because they enjoy the show. If no one was enjoying what we were doing, we would be burnt out and done with it already. But they keep us inspired. So it's been awesome. And it's awesome to have you, one of my oldest and dearest friends, on our 400th episode. So that worked out perfectly. I couldn't have asked for better.
Yeah, no, what you said, Abe, is so true. The energy, it's an ecosystem. That energy from all the fans of KMA, everybody looking forward to it on a weekly basis, and people saying, "Hey, listen, yeah, honey, I'll do that, but after Kiss My Ass, after," and people feeding you that energy. I'd always said, back in the day when you had, the lumberjack with the red and the black to match, it was when you had one store, I would say, Abe, hit him with the power blast.
Yeah.
And I was just explaining that the other day to a friend. I was like, this dude has so much power within him that, provided he's channeling that power in a positive manner, his ability to broadcast, and I don't mean just from broadcasting a cigar program, but broadcasting that energy to make a difference. And and that's what you've always done, even when people took shots at you, or when different issues that have come up. I've watched you go through battles, I've watched you go through wars, and no matter what they were, you always kept it positive and kept that energy contagious. So God bless, dude. And your fans are real. It's the real deal. They love it.
Thank you, brother. I mean, episode 3. You were episode 3.
So your homeboy was right.
Talk Radio, episode 3.
Oh, so you said 2 or 3. Who was in there?
Yep, episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I was listening.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I was listening when Abe was concocting the shit. I was living in. I think I might have still been living in your house around that time, Abe.
Gervin.
Or maybe it was just after. I don't know. What year? When did it start? What was the first?
It's got to be 2011-ish, 2012.
Oh, so that was way later. All right.
I think this June is about. It'll be 10 years. I think.
Well, just to give you some perspective, I was living in your house for that 6-month period when I got sideways, when I needed my psychological rehab, probably around 2002. So that's when I dipped out of Nicaragua for a minute, and whenever I was in the U.S. over there. So that was many, many years later.
The best part of that story is you were living in our house after he had just gotten like a really, really nice condo 10 minutes from our house.
I never unpacked the shit.
Did you ever listen? John got a really nice place downtown West Palm Beach, high rise, great view. Did you even spend a night there after you got it?
No, I had Marielos and I had just split up, and I was going through a really tough time psychologically, and my heart was hurting and everything. And I'm a person who's a loner, always been able to be alone. But at that moment, I needed that power, that camaraderie, fellowship, and you, Brandy, just, I literally brought my stuff in. It was all wrapped in plastic and shit. It was all protected. I never even unpacked it. And when I left, it was still in the same plastic. It was in the same, so I didn't live in your house with a straight year. It wasn't a straight year. It was whenever I'd come in from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I would come straight to your house. So I never slept one night in West Palm at my condo. I always stayed at your house in my room, and got my haircuts and got my breakfast and got my little speeches and my pep talks. So your energy, your influence, has gone to touch so many people, and on a very personal level, that's that gift that God has given you. That's that power that you have, and you uplifted me through a time that was an uncertain time for me. It was a destructive moment. So, I think that through the show you're able to really, you're able to deliver that sermon, man. It's called you're what's called anointed. You're an anointed individual, and when you're anointed, nothing can take that away from you unless you take it from yourself. And that's that self-awareness and that ability which comes from your parents and from their parents and from the legacy of your foundation that goes all the way back, hundreds of years, thousands of years. And you hold, you a true Don. You hold it down. You're a good king, Abe. And I'm a person who, I may not be where I am right now if I didn't have that time with you to keep me grounded and keep me straight, because I was sideways.
Well, listen, I think that's why early on we bonded, because you were that for me. You know what I mean? You had a vision. Look, I talk about something called depth of vision, right? Everybody has a depth of vision in life. It's kind of like, how far can you see down the road? Guys like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they have an immense depth of vision. They're looking at centuries down the road. And not everybody has the same depth of vision. And when we met, your depth of vision was way deeper than mine, because I remember when I was doing like our first annual poker tournament, and I was up all night. I was in the kitchen, and I'm writing all these forms and the seat selections and figuring out how we're going to do everything. And you're looking at me like, you're doing all this, He's like, this is like unreal. And you were watching me work through the night. And I've always said it before. Our reach now is globally, and Smokin's reach is KMA, Smokin, the whole conglomerate is a global reach. And we would have never even went down that road if it wasn't the time we spent together, because you were the influencer of saying you need to make an online presence. And I was like, nah, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to relate, because everything we've ever done has always been experience driven, people to people contact and whatnot. And, John inspired that. He's the guy that actually talked me into starting and helping me start our e-commerce site and getting it out there, and really made that happen. And we wouldn't be here today probably with KMA or half the audience or fans and friends that we've made over the decades. So there he is. But I was just giving the props, John, if you can hear me, about how basically you pushed us to make a global audience and get out there and start the e-commerce, and helped us get started out and get out there in the world. And that was your inspiration. I never even saw that far down the road.
That's a pretty profound statement from both of you, honestly.
Well, we both grew together. We were both young companies when we met, literally. I mean, they had just started. We were in early years, and I think that's what makes a lot of the close friendships that we have. Guys like me, John, Eric, guys where we met and we were just starting in our stages, not having a clue of where you're going to end up. When
you met John, where was he as far as the company was concerned?
I think it was the first or second year.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, really early on. I remember hearing about this brand, Acid, right? I remember going to the trade show, and no bullshit, John was the guy who came up to me and walked me through the line like a sales rep.
Really?
This is this, you should carry this. And John took our first order. We didn't even know each other. And the bond kind of really solidified after that, literally, like, I don't know the whole story, but, Drew Estate was very famous for throwing epic after parties, nightly parties.
Right, I hear about these after parties a lot.
Epic, always over the top. And, this was in their broke stages, man. I mean,
Right.
Not like broke, but there was no extra money lying around. And they had taken over this whole nightclub and whatever. So we were going to go. And my wife and I, we hop out of a cab, and there's JD with a altercation, some big altercation with a guy, and they're in each other's face. I just slowly walk up and just start standing behind John. Just, I have no idea what the story is. Till this day, I couldn't even tell you what they were fighting about. I think somebody got out of line. They're trying to ask him to leave. And the tone of the conversation changed a little bit when I stood behind John. You know, John didn't even know.
I
John
mean, listen,
I was behind him at the time.
if I'm a guy and I'm arguing with John and I see you walk up, my mind says to me, "Shit, this is the massive bodyguard. I better calm down a little bit."
You know, kind of slightly what happened, and then they resolved it, and Jonathan turns around, sees me, and he's just laughing. He just the timing of it, and that just became a story that bonded us, and we just continually grew, and we got to know each other better. He came up to see our store in West Palm. I would go down there. And then we just partnered up on so many projects. I mean, if you look back at it historically, the first microblend, even when we didn't know what microblend was, or the idea wasn't even in my head, but the first smoke-in microblend was the Ming subculture that we had done with Drew Estate, and we were the first shop. At first it was a smoke-in exclusive, and then they started selling it across the country. But that kind of put our company on the map. A lot of loyal Drew Estate followers were then looking for smoke-in. Where do I get the cigar called Ming? And the marketing was pretty cool and pretty badass. And it was funny because no one knew who I was at the time. I mean, we joke about it, but I mean, there's literally a story where Cigars International had taken that marketing ad and put it on the cover of one of their catalogs.
Right? Yeah. It's great.
And friends started calling me, and guys in the industry like, "Why are you on the cover of Cigars International?" I'm like, what? And honestly, I think at that time I was like, "Cigar who?" I mean, that's how early we were, I mean,
right. And that was the microblend before microblends.
Yeah, that was the microblend before there were microblends, and it kills me because that's got to be going close to 20 years old. And every now and then on social media, a box of those Mings will show up somewhere. And I think even Kevin from Cigar Prop, he started a whole search and talking about it, and revitalized it during COVID. What is this Ming cigar? He had found some lost long treasure somewhere. But yeah, it just hasn't gone away. And Jonathan actually gave me my first nickname in the industry, Ming.
It's funny. I remember probably a little bit before COVID, J-Rock, one of our beloved customers at the West Palm shop, actually came in smoking a Ming. And I said, Jesus, how old is that thing? Where'd you get that from? And he just gave me the look yeah, I've been around.
Yeah, there were two renditions. There was an early, if you're one of the lucky 200 or 300, I think they were originally made, you got the Mings that were in each individual wooden coffin box, right? Then when they made it for national release, it didn't come, but it had a really funky label with colored balls and jewelry. I mean, it was a weird, very funky looking label. And then the second rendition, maybe 2 years later, was Ming Dynasty. It was cleaned up a little bit. It was a different look. Not that there was anything wrong with the first one, but they're two completely different looking bands. So there's a.
Was it the same? Was it the same blend?
No, the Ming Dynasty actually had two wrappers on it. It had a different wrapper foot. It had a Connecticut foot.
Okay.
So yeah, it was not the same blend. The Ming Dynasty was not the same blended cigar. So, and I don't think I have. Maybe I got one in my collection somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, maybe there might be a coffin that somebody found and gifted to me back behind me somewhere. I gotta check. JD, you there, brother? JD, we were having some technical issues with JD with his connection from where he's at. We stabilized it. That's why at the late start of the show today, we stabilized it. And we thought we were good, but people must be waking up and getting on the broadband over there and or cellular and
Well, hopefully we can get them back.
Yep.
We'll
sure.
check on me.
In the meantime, should we give away? Should we do a little? We're almost at the top of the hour. Should we do? All right. So people, if you're just joining us, Alex, you got a pack. Why don't you show them these awesome T52? What do they call these? Carry on or they have
carrier bag? I mean, this thing is. If you can see this, we try and get up. This thing is really nice. I mean, it's not. When I saw the pictures of it, you can't tell that. I don't know if it's leather or some type of leather type material, but it's not just some polyester. It's extremely nice.
Nice looking bag.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bag you're going to use. It's not just one of those that'll just sit in a closet and I want some dopey bag.
And they got stuff, and they got stuff in there. Look at that.
And
I
they got
need
stuff
one
in. They
of
got a little toiletry bag. And it's got all
And there's
kinds.
stuff in it, right?
Yes, it's got a. Let me take this stuff out the plastic because it's really nice stuff. So we got a little wallet type thing. We have a what I assume is some kind of bag tag, T52 as well. The T52 socks, which I love.
Oh, that is cool.
Yes. And last, well, not last. Okay.
There's more.
There's more. So great T52 pocket knife. You can see that.
Ooh.
That's
Yes,
a nice
very
looking
nice.
knife.
Nice looking knife. And now, last but not least, once I get this open, see if you can see some awesome T52 cufflinks.
Oh wow! Oh, those
Yes.
are cool.
Now,
Very cool.
I'm gonna guess, Paul, that you have shirts that require cufflinks.
I have. Yeah. Why would you? I don't. Is that a bad thing? I used to only
No,
wear shirts with
No,
cufflinks.
but the last one I had was when I got married, so I don't know if I still have it, but if I do, I definitely don't fit in it. And I'm pretty sure Alex doesn't have one, so I'm
I don't.
yeah. So out of the three of us, I'm figuring you're probably the one that could use cufflinks out of us.
Yeah, I have. You know, I worked at Tiffany and Company, so I have a lot of really nice cufflinks as well.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ask.
I think we have JD back too.
JD, you with us?
Yo, I'm with you, man. Can you hear me right now?
Yes,
I can hear you.
All right, yeah, man. I apologize so much. This has been a struggle, but I'm so glad still to be here with you guys on the 400. So, yo.
Yeah.
Now we'll rock through it, man. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. We're here.
I know I've told you before, JD. I just want to synopsis what you missed, but basically I talked about how you inspired us and what we did and pushed us to get our reach out there into the world, which I was against. And you literally, for weeks on end, bashed it into me and talked me into it and helped make it happen. And actually helped us out and started us out in the process. So, you know, it was a mutual time for both of us to grow. So
Yeah, man, that's what it's about. You know, I believe in what I don't call it, but I believe in each one. And, you know, sometimes, you know, obviously, right, the people who you love the most can hurt you the worst, and the people who are the closest to you, you know, you fight with them to get there and to understand their potential and understand the future and have that, you know, that forward vision. And with you, it was you know, you're set in your ways. You're a very traditional man, and you know you have your path forward, and you clear the noise, and you get in there so you don't let a lot of distractions. And I came at you with a lot of different a vision that it really took a lot of work for you to shift and make time for. But once you did, you just ate it up, man, and it's just been so I'm glad to have played an influence, and I think it's back and forth. You know, we've both brought that, and that's the modern day cigar shop, right? You know, Kiss My Ash does it live. It's you know, we all need help, and we all need love, and we all need guidance, and we all need to be smacked in the face every now and then, and you know, who do you trust? The people around you who you love and respect, you know. So that's why I saw your homeboy showing the swag, and yo, he showed it pretty good, man. But so I caught parts and pieces of it. But this Liga Privada swag is dope. What this year we've had good swag, we've had great swag, then we have triumphant swag, and this leather bag, yo, this is no joke right here, man. This shit, this thick leather. This is like Louis Vuitton level shit, man. The people at Louis are calling me. They're like, "Yo, we gotta get some Drewy. This is heavy, you know, heavy bale right here." So that's some beautiful swag, and we're kicking it off this week, I believe, or in a week and a half, whatever it is, whatever the kickoff day is. That you'll be able to nationwide grab it, but of course, you know, Smoke Inn's going to charter that this time around. So thanks so much for showing off the shit. Our consumer engagement team decked it out to get it crazy for just some super high-end shit. So all
Yeah,
good on it.
They did deck it out, and Smokin will be having a T52 launch event on December 1st, where people can get the opportunity to hopefully acquire some of it. But thanks to you and the fine team over at DE, we're going to give away 3 of those packs today. Right now is the first one. I'm going to ask a trivia question right now. We're going to see who are really the hardcore buffs. And Paul, do you know the answers, correct?
Yes, I have the answers now.
So-
I had to look it up. I had to make sure I had them. I'm sure I know them
Okay.
because I kind of tested myself, but I have them in front of me. So
All right,
whoever
so here we go.
whoever I see with the correct answer first is going to be the winner. Correct?
Yes, on Paul's screen. So not on your screen at home, at Paul's screen. So here's a question that I think some of our hardcore fans really would have to know. And it's proper for today's technical issues, right? In which episode was KMA done completely over a cell phone?
Yeah, that's proper. That's proper for this.
We had technical difficulties. We ended up doing a whole show completely over a cell phone. And which episode was that done? So you'd have to tell us the episode, the guest, where it was, where we had to do the show completely over a cell phone. No, numbers ain't going to do it. You got to tell me the episode, Evan Darnell. They're just shooting numbers. They're guessing numbers. Nope. No number guessing. You have to tell us the guest.
And where it was. Give us the guest and where it was. I see a lot of numbers going on.
Yeah, because they don't have to know. They can just shoot in the dark and hopefully get it right. We'll give it a few more minutes before the break.
Episode. They're guessing episode 3 with JD.
Yeah, Coop.
No.
Coop is like, this is too easy.
No, nobody's gotten the right answer yet. I'm surprised, man.
Chaz Felice Risti at Boynton. We did have technical difficulties. We ended up buying a new computer, leaving the studio and doing that show from Boynton. So that was, I'll give everybody a hint. It was a remote show. We were in another part of the country. We were in another part of the country. We were doing a remote show. And, we got easier questions, Matt. Somebody's going to win this. I just started with a tough one.
That's
You
a
did.
tough one.
I didn't know the answer to this question. I had to check.
All right, I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds, and we're just going to call it and go to the next question.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
can you hear us? I hate to do this because I know we've been having technical difficulties, but is there any way you could cock your screen a little bit? That sun's coming in. We can't see them gazelles.
Doesn't get
All
set.
right. How about this? Because there seems to be a delay. Can you hear me?
No, you're not. You're on another screen.
You're on
You're
the computers.
You're on the
You're
computer
broadcasting
screen.
from the computer right now. There you are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that works.
That's the refund
Wait, no, where
I'm
you-
trying to work from.
There you
There he
go.
is. There he
There
is.
you
Yo,
go.
what up? I've been
All
working
right,
from
nobody-
3 different. I didn't even know which one I was. I was working from the computer and 2 phones, and I'm telling you, I'm moving. You saw me moving the other
I
shit
thought you were
around,
taking pictures of the screen or something.
bro. I thought I was on the other devices. I've been trying from 3 devices, 1 computer. I was almost gonna pull the other computer. Now I got you clear right here. Yo,
There we
what's
go.
that episode and who was it?
It was.
All right.
It was
Nobody got
Davidoff of New York. It was the first
First
time we had Henke Kellner on. We'd flown in New York, and their Wi-Fi did not work, and we ended up having to do the whole episode by cell phone. And one of the funniest stories is I had Lady M call in to talk to. She's like, she saw an ad for Davidoff. She goes, "Can I get Zeno Davidoff as a guest?" I'm like, "Yeah." We actually have this call on audio. We should look it up. But she called up and she asked for Zeno Davidoff. And the guy behind the counter, his name at the time was actually Lino, Lino. So the guy pauses and he goes, "Are you looking for Lino?" No, I'm looking for Zeno. There's no Zeno here. There's a Lino. And Emily's like, "Zeno Davidoff?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, he's dead." And all you hear is a pause, and Emily goes, Oh. And then she realized we were playing a prank on her. All right.
She goes, fucking Abe.
Yes. So here's an easier one that hopefully get somebody will get for that swag bag. All right. We've only done one episode from an ICPR show. Okay. You don't have to tell me the year, but if you can tell me what city the IPCPR show was, that we did a live KMA broadcast from, you will win that pack.
Let's see what we got.
So what city we did the IPCPR show from?
Yep.
So while this is going on, I just got to say, with this swag, I've noticed a lot of manufacturers have started to get the hint that everybody seems to be a little tired of the cutter and the lighter. See, everybody's probably got 50 cutters and lighters. But this swag, it's really another level. It really is.
We got a winner.
I got to give you credit there. This swag is another level. And we got a winner.
And I'm excited to say who it is because he's a good friend of the show. The first correct answer is Curtis Critchfield. Congratulations, Curtis.
Congratulations.
Nice job. We're going to give 2 more away in the second hour of KMA Talk Radio.
See if I can Vanna White it a little bit.
Look at that. It's really fun. Gorgeous. Curtis, congrats. On the way.
How's he doing, JD? Is he Vanna Whiting it good enough?
Yo, he's doing good, man. He's doing good. The bag is dope, and all the shit inside is dope. They really turned it. I don't know what kind of money they spent on this. Consumer Engagement probably got my ass in trouble because I know I'm trying to see is this the real deal leather because it's got that butter to it. It's like butter so super soft, and the socks, all the shit is cool, but the leather's crazy.
I want to see Curtis. We want a picture of you wearing the socks with some like high-rise jeans and walking down the street with your bag over your shoulder. That's the conditions for winning the prize pack.
All right. We got to take a short little break so we can pay some bills. And after the break, we're going to have more with JD, see what's going on with him and Drew Estate. And we got 2 more of those T52 bags to give away. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Keep it lit.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Elmer Suárez de La Flor de Copán en Honduras.
My name is Ernesto Kranwinkel and I'm from La Romana, Dominican Republic.
Hola, mi nombre es Diana, soy de Manizales, Colombia.
Días, Freddy Molina desde Estelí, Nicaragua.
Hola amigos, saludos a todos. María Santis, orgullosa de ser puertorriqueña.
Cheers, I'm Oliver, I'm from London, England.
I love H. Upmann Añejo.
My favorite H. Upmann Dominican cigar is the H. Upmann Banker.
My favorite H. Upmann cigar is the Hermannsbach.
Favorite H. Upmann is the H. Upmann by AJ Fernandez.
Mi cigarro favorito es H. Upmann Española.
I highly recommend you try the H. Upmann 175th anniversary, awarded number 10 cigar of 2019.
One world together with H. Upmann.
Surgeon General warning: cigars are not a safe alternative to cigarettes.
And we're
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. KMA Talk Radio. Honest Abe here with the crew, Paul and Alex, and our special guest today, one of our old, not just an icon and a legend in the cigar industry, because this could be really the first guy that I know of, that I could think of, that actually connected a following internationally, person to person. This is the first guy I saw him really embrace consumers, and consumers, built such a following as an owner and a proprietor and a founder of the company. And a lot of what my inspiration was and how to interact with consumers, but also an old friend. So Jonathan Drew on KMA's 400th episode from Sag Harbor.
Yeah, that's right, from Sag Harbor. But something, dude, when you think about it, right? Now, we look towards digital technology to be able to reach. And it's all about how many you reach, how many likes did you get, how many interactions, what they say. It's not even what they say half the time. It's like, how many. But, standing there when you're going to do an event, it's supposed to be 3 hours, and you stand there 9 hours, and they got to lower you into the car because you can't bend your back. and then for 3 days you're with a cane, and then for the next and it was constant like that for many years of just eating pizzas 3 times in one day. And I always was like, yo, listen, man, these people, these dudes and dudettes that who they love cigars, and you spend a little time, it's such a bonding experience, and it blossomed where like it didn't matter if JD was there or not. At that point, it was like, yo, Drew Estate, it was that Grateful Dead kind of like, traveling, and it caught on to ignite past just Drew Estate, and it became basically an antithesis for the industry to understand that there's something very communal and that fellowship approach to our culture. And it really changed the cigar world, and it really comes down to just an investment, because you can build a building and second building also to buy tobacco, but your time is a huge investment. Our time is very limited. So whatever business people are in, when you're putting your time into the people around you, not just people who work for you, but you go deeper. It was a tremendously rewarding piece for us, Abe, and I think it changed the industry, and it made our business, it made it fun. People would go to events and just shit would be popping off. People would be dancing, bring their wives, and Drew Estate always bring the party to everything. So thanks for acknowledging it.
Well, this is actually a really good segue, John, into a question that I kind of really personally want to ask you, right? Because, we both have that history of you building something from a little place in Brooklyn. I remember when you first moved down here, and we're moving people down here, and got your first place down in Florida, and moved your operations and built this thing to this mega conglomerate. And, one of the questions, and honestly, because our lives have just gotten so busy that, we're not fortunate enough to have lunches or dinners like we used to, or sleepovers, or, whatever it is. But,
slumber parties.
Right. Slumber parties like my kids like to have. But, when I haven't been there, I don't know if I'll be there. Maybe one day I'm going to sit in your shoes and have to look at what I've built and what I've done. What was going on in your head psychologically, emotionally at the time when the thought of selling the company that you built to another company? What was the thought process at that moment? How difficult was it? Was it difficult at all?
Because it's your baby.
Oh man, it was tremendously difficult, first of all. But and let me know if I'm not coming in clear right now, because
you sound great.
All right, so thank you. It was what goes on through your mind, right? Is like this. Think about it. I'm the child of my parents. I'm my mother's son, my father's son. I don't have a big family. I really didn't know anybody else in my family until recently. So this business and Drew Estate and me, JD, Jonathan Drew, and the people around it, and the buildings that we built, and walking to our field when we bought it, and overlooking the city of Esteli and the valleys, and the dirt, picking that dirt up in your hand, and before there was any building there, and people that I go to Drew Estate, and they're like, holy shit, I went to Drew Estate, I took a picture in front of the wall, and then we hung out at Subculture Studios, Cigar Safari. It's the size of 3 football fields now. Basically, it's close to probably 300,000 square feet, 285, 250, 270, I don't know. But before there was any of that, there was dirt on a cliff, with some vegetation. And I remember getting sticker bushes as I was walking through, showing my dad, and walking the field, and then, with Marvin or Marielos, and saying like, this is going to be our factory. This is where we're moving to, like, Turkish tribes during the times of the Ottoman Empire and the Mongols and the Crusades, because that's how mine works. It was like, these are our lands. This is biblical. We're gonna build this, the greatest factory that the world, not the greatest factory, but the greatest factory that the world has ever seen. And people are looking at me, and I'm trying to keep the lights on, and I got shoes on that were ratty, and pants I had worn for 30 days straight. You know what I'm saying? And I was just cargo shorts. I remember I retired those motherfuckers. I put them on Facebook. And people are looking at me like I was crazy. what are you talking about? So, you think to your room at La Gran Fabrica Drew Estate, and you think about my father's room, and what does it mean? What happens to your room? And we bought the orphanage across the street, which they were transitioning to, moving the kids out into a different style, more Americanized style of people, the kids moving into homes and stuff like that. And we gave them like 5 years, however long they needed to do what they had to do and stuff like that, and then we built Drew Estate 2 over there. And, so what goes through your mind is, your culture. When people talk about culture all the time, what they omit to talk about or they're not insightful enough to understand, or maybe don't want to talk about, is the pain. People think food is culture, and music is culture, and dance is culture, and it is, and tradition is culture, and religion. But also through all of that is this weaved pain. And that pain that weaves into it is, when you start thinking about what you've built, and you say, it's been 19. When we sold Drew Estate, it was 19 years that we had developed it and built this thing and shined that diamond and scraped that diamond and shined that diamond and budded that diamond and broke the diamond, break it again. It's perfect, like Apple. It's perfect. Break it. What? Yeah, controlled destruction. Break it and do it again. And living in that space in your mind of it's a turmoil space, but it's a space, it's very powerful. It's a very destructive space. And to think about that, right, where you build something that's absolutely killer, quintessentially beautiful, and after you build it and you get it to where you want, you're going to destroy it, rip it down so that you can rebuild it, right? Destroy to rebuild. And then in comes the moment to sell. And you say to yourself, well, is this me? Am I selling me? Am I selling something beyond me, bigger than me, smaller than me, part of me? And you start to remove yourself out of it, and you think of Drew Estate as we transition from a cult brand to a trust brand in 19 years, from a group of idiots, a group of morons and wild-ass individuals doing whatever, to a bunch of more mature, more sophisticated, and always beautifully hearted. That's one thing we've always had, is a beautiful heart as a company. And we got to destroy it to rebuild it. So in a way, every change is an emblem of extinction, right? It's destruction. So I went through that on a personal level, but I like the family who bought it. It's a family business. It's Swisher been a family business 105 years, and they've gone through their transitions like every company. So you go through a lot of pain, Abe, but I felt as though it was the rebirth. It was a time for a blessing, and it was time to people not just we all have more funds to do more things, bigger company, more money that we're going to build more. We were scrapping, and we were going to build no matter what. We were building no matter what. Whoever we would borrow money from. I was talking to my homeboy who got the Bronxilla out there now, the new acid Bronxilla from the Acid 20. Hey, man, can I borrow 10 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand, $1 million? Yeah. The other dudes can do $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. We was borrowing money like crazy. People were giving it to us. Banks, 13 million, 12 million, mad money. And there was nothing was going to stop this force, because it was time for it. The world knew it. The tobacco industry needed it. They needed Drew Estate to change the game. And the benefit of Drew Estate changing the game had its effects across the board, and it affected everybody. And that's why Drew Estate wasn't just me and Marvin and Steve and Nick and Rubio and Luis and Renee, all of the people globally, Pedro Gomez, Willie Herrera, all of these people, me included. It was way bigger than us. It was people who was even our enemies and our competitors who seeing Drew Estate grow, knew, man, this shit is good for everybody. So we all in. We all in. Give them a piece now. We'll take it back later. They didn't take the shit back anyway. But it was painful. And I'm here. Think of this. I'll throw a question back at you, Snapper. Is this ready? Who's been around as long as JD after a sale?
You're muted, Paul.
Paul, you're on mute.
Great comment, Paul. Thanks.
That's another question that I had for you, because that is a noticeable difference with what's gone on.
I can't hear
with the sale of the company. I'll let the guys talk.
The longest person that I know historically in the cigar industry, and this is not a fact, this is just my personal guess on the situation, who stuck around with the company that acquired them, I think to date has been Ernesto Perez Carrillo. I think he stayed with General at least 10 years or more before he moved out. But it's uncommon. Most guys are gone. They don't last a year.
What year did they do? What year did he come out with the EPC?
Maybe 6-7 years ago.
We just had him on. He just talked about it.
Yeah, but he was with General for over a decade, almost a decade. I'm pretty sure.
He talked about it.
All right, so that's interesting because
but it's very uncommon, John. Most guys are gone.
Yeah, but I want to say something. Even with Ernesto Perez Carrillo, when I destroyed the factory in 2002, I made the front cover of La Prensa in Nicaragua because I fired every single person in the entire factory. And when we rebuilt, after we had to do that, it was Ernesto Perez Carrillo who came to Nicaragua, stayed in my house with me for 8 days, and hired with me our new factory manager at the time. Was 2002. We fired 242 people, except for one person. Everybody had to go. And he was the one who rebuilt with me of how to reset and reestablish Drew Estate. So it's not surprising that he's the only one. He's got me by 3 years. So we'll see.
but
so it's been that long. Wow.
Yeah, John, it's been 7 years now?
2014, so whatever that comes up to.
Yeah, 6 years.
6-7 years.
John was the first person that shared that story with me. I remember. It might have been in the time you were living with us, but that was the first time I started to see early in the industry how most of this industry, not everybody, as John will tell you, but there really is a brotherhood. Whether John was telling me a story how Ernesto came and he told me he slept at our place, helped us regroup, figure out what we need to do. And I was like, wow, isn't he your competitor? That was my words to him. And John's like, man, it's a family. And I remember when Kiki had some issues, I think his barn burned down one. I mean, it's a common thing that in this industry that maybe not always makes street news, but it's a common occurrence, man. Most guys in this industry are there to help. And especially at times like now, I've been meaning to ask you since you got on and they got me all emotionally sidetracked with that intro. But Nicaragua took a bashing these last couple of weeks with the hurricanes and whatever. Are you up to speed? How has things sustained down in Nicaragua after this last hurricane?
Yeah, people will use words, like they're okay, or everybody, we're going to get through it and this and that. But, on an individual basis, Nicaragua has always been billed as the super poor country. And I guess to certain standards or whatever it is, but there is a tremendous working class in Nicaragua. And, people live differently. A household could have anywhere from 6 to 8 people. It's a little different than here in the United States. And people got hurt, Abe, really, really hurt. There are people on the coast side, people got demolished straight out. So when you think of Nicaragua, all the Latins who are on the Latin side, Nicaragua that we all know, the cigar side, the Managua, Esteli, Somoto, Chinandega, all that whole area of the country, they got jammed up. I mean, for sure. And on the other side got smashed, the coast. So let's talk about the area that we know about, we talk about, which, is the main area of Nicaragua, the main body. People really, as you can imagine, through these kind of storms back to back, I don't think it's going to have the kind of devastation that like Puerto Rico has gone through. Because I think that the stronger you build something, the bigger you build something, the more there is to destroy, right? So I think Puerto Rico, has been so it's just a difference from a standpoint of it's so industrialized already and modernized that I think that Nicaragua, it's still an agricultural society. It's still an agricultural. It's the largest country in Central America. We think about Central Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. These countries are different from each other, but they're all one. And, there's a very agricultural style communities will go through these things differently. So the pain is bad for the individual family. If they lost a roof, that's a big deal. If they lost a piece of the house, that's a big deal. Then there's very poor people. So it's definitely the kind of thing where everybody should go if they can and look online for a charity to invest into, a little bit of money, 10, 20 bucks, whatever, and be able to send that to Nicaragua, and hopefully most of it will find its way there. So it's, as you could imagine, Abe, I think for the cigar families, from the standpoint of Esteli, our main city, you have Drew Estate, you have Oliva and Perdomo, Padron, Skip is there, STG, Pepin, all of those factories, Perdomo, all of those factories, and the ones I'm missing, because there's quite a few great, amazing factories. I'm not leaving anyone out on purpose, just going to sit here and name one. They seem to they're more paternalistic with their workers. AJ too. Everybody's really, obviously Hoya, Nicaragua. So we do things to try and get people ready, embrace people, and get them, ready to take care of business and keep it. I think that the Esteli is in better shape than a lot of the country. They got hit with a lot of water, so there's a lot of water damage, and that affects the factory also differently, right? Because you can't roll cigars with high humidity. It's very problematic. So you're going to see the cigar industry is going through somewhat of a boom right now, and they're already having difficulty getting enough cigars out of the country without the 2 hurricanes, based on COVID and based on the boom. So now with this, it makes things extra difficult, because there's certain days that you'll feel in 45 days from now, 30, 45, 60 days from now, of shipments that won't go out because they didn't produce cigars that day.
Yeah. Didn't even think about the humidity factor, too.
The humidity factor is for real, man. You have to have. That's why a lot of the factories in Nicaragua have very good climate control. They invest into. They go, oh yeah, we got air conditioning for the rollers. Yeah, you got air conditioning for the rollers or whatever. But you also got climate control, because you need to have that. The more consistent and drier actually your humidity is, the better it is for rolling cigars when it comes to cigar construction and the draw that you're ultimately going to have.
That's great. That's great introspect, John. One thing I got to give you credit. You always talk about the people first. You're always a people first guy. I see that in every conversation, and that's good introspect, man. Because it does. It starts with the people.
Yeah, for some reason with Homeboy, I got a really bad connection. So first of all, I hope I'm not cutting you off. But we've always been people, first. We've always been very. People-centric in Nicaragua at the factories. Again, I like to speak about La Gran Fábrica Drew Estate, but I really like also the admiration that I have for the other factories in Nicaragua, not just Drew and Hoya, but all of the factories. We all really look after the people. Some do an incredibly amazing job of taking care and looking after. Skip's a great example of New Blood, who's just been amazing with the people, and he just goes to the next level of always having a very strong commitment. But Padron, the incredible loyalty to their workers, and Hoya de Nicaragua, Drew, Plasencia, the God. These are people who teach you how to do it the right way. So we followed in the footsteps of Hoya, Plasencia, and Padron. And I think though all of the factories in Nicaragua are very protective of their people and really go out of their way for them. We each have different strengths and weaknesses. And then again, not speaking down towards Cuba or towards Dominican Republic, Honduras, Mexico, Brazil, any of the countries who make cigars, around the world. But I could just tell you, the culture in Nicaragua is the standards of the government, is very pro worker. And they should be. And people can say whatever they want to about political beliefs and this and that, but the political system has always been really take care of your employees. And that's something that, I think they've set a great example. And I can say to you that the factories there in Nicaragua, when you're smoking a Nicaraguan cigar, you know that you're not smoking, any kind of bad labor shit going on. People are pretty, they do it the right way. All the factories in Nicaragua, straight up.
Well, that means something. That means something, especially to me. That's you want to know that you're partaking in something that the people that put it together, that make it, that grow it, are treated fairly.
Abe, I can't really hear him, but
he agreed with you. Look, any good company is always built on people, right? Nobody could do it alone, and one of the nice things I'm sure John got to experience and we get to experience as we grow and become bigger of an organization, you're able not only to keep and reward those loyal people, but get new people, which help build what you worked on, right? I mean, to have a team that you could work on instead of like in the beginning. I mean, John will tell you, you know, he was probably banging out stuff for his first trade show, putting it together himself. I mean, that's how you start out. And, and you get to a point where, thank God, now you got teams that help organize and help you take your vision and your company path to where it's got to go. So growth is a great thing. We got another old friend of yours coming on, one of our KMA contributors, Coop. But before we get Coop on, let me ask a second trivia, and that way we control the questions. I'll make this one a little bit more modern, so everybody's got a clear shot. If you're a real KMA fan, there's the bag. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, baby.
That baggie can be yours. I may only give away 2 and keep one of those. But here we go.
I know they are really nice.
They are nice. So here's the question. Paul, you can state the winner after I ask the question as they're shooting off the answers. Paul, let's bring Coop on, all right? So here's the question. KMA had to stop broadcasting at the start of COVID. We were shut out of the iHeartMedia studios due to COVID. And we had to take some time off to regroup and figure out how we were going to do the show and continue to do the show. Who was the first KMA guest during the quarantine period after we had to shut down for COVID? So let's see who gets that. And if Coop's on, let's bring him in.
I don't have the answer to that.
Dude, how can you were producer?
I got the answer. If I know the answer. If no one gets it, I want a shot at that answer.
All right. Let's.
There it is.
That's the correct answer. That's the first one. Quentin Thor Nation.
That's
Quentin Nation. You win the prize pack.
Quentin
Write
Thor.
your name down. Oh, we got a lot of answers. That one, Mawa, you were right, but
look at that. I want to see you in those socks, Quentin.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can
There
get
you
those
go.
Goliath feet in them socks.
These are nice, man. Listen, these are nice. Again, none of this stuff is cheap stuff, man. It's really not. I don't know what these guys spent, John, but they didn't spare any expense on this stuff.
There you go. Coop, welcome to the 400th episode, my friend.
wow, 400 episodes, and it seems like yesterday we were in Atlanta doing 300, and today with JD on, it didn't get better than this.
Well, that was one of our optional questions, which it won't be now. But yeah, we did our 300 episodes.
I was gonna say
You'd be surprised that he'll still get it wrong.
but technically it was not in Atlanta, so I wouldn't accept that answer.
Alpharetta,
Georgia. Georgia. Yep.
Yes, I won't say any more.
Yeah, seriously, stop bringing up facts, damn it. You're going through our list.
So talking about building teams, you know, and stuff like that. Paul was a great acquisition, and honestly, I'll say it on the air. Paul's not just a producer. Paul and I have become friends. We share life and fatherhood, and it's kind of what bonded all three of us. You know, a little bit of life and fatherhood. And
well, it's funny hearing JD's perspective on his friendship with you because, you know, I as I have become a father, because since I've known you, I wasn't married. I was the single guy. So I got married. I had 2 children, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with kids. Like I see Abe's kids, and I see what I want my children to be. So I speak to Abe and Brandy a lot about certain things that I am not 100% sure of. Like, how would you guys handle this? Because I see how their children are, especially in public, but even when I'm just talking to them, you know, privately in a room somewhere, like they're just very, very intellectual, very kind and good kids. But like, I want my kids to be like that. So what did you do? Give me a guideline, you know? So Abe helped me a lot.
There's no roadmap, bro. It's a struggle every day. We just had our first incident with Asher, my son. He got kicked in the face at the bus stop after school by a fifth grader. All right.
Did he take him down?
My son is in kindergarten, and a 5th grade kid, he got in a tuffle with a 5th grade kid. Proudly, he got up and started chasing the kid. But Mama was on fire.
Mama was on fire.
Mama was on fire, man. I was afraid we were going to have a second throwdown with the mom meeting over this, you know. But look, I told her, look, it wasn't. I think they just got out of hand, and I think it was a isolated incident. And my wife went and talked to the mom, and she was in shock. And but you know, there's always going to be something. It's the struggle of parenthood. And Coop's got more experience than probably the three of us put together, four of us put together.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right. But we made the decision. You know, we got the boxing gloves. We're ordering them. We're going to get him out there with Carmine. We're going to get him trained up.
Yep.
He'll be ready for round 2. He'll be ready for the rematch.
Yeah.
But you know, Paul, same thing for me. I pulled the John. I spent a couple months at Abe's house as well. So you know, I was in that same boat 10, 12 years later. So I understand the hospitality and kind of the friendships that bond. You know, I was in that same position.
I didn't know that was up for grabs, man. Listen, maybe I'll go hang out at your house for a couple days to get a break here.
But Coop was another great, honestly, part of what made KMA what it is today, right? Because we were always good on entertainment. News wasn't our thing. So, you know, when we got with Coop and Coop became a contributor to the show, honestly, another one of the best things that happened to KMA Talk Radio.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, it's to be a part of this, and this is next year's 10 years. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary, so there's another big milestone. And JD mentioned it earlier. It is truly part of the fabric of listening to cigar shows. I started listening episode 1 in my backyard. I remember it was like a September day, I think, when it was. And started listening in the backyard. And to be a part of this now, it's like a dream come true. I mean, I'm honored.
I remember when we discussed bringing Coop on, and I didn't know. I had only known Coop's website. I didn't know Coop as a personality at all. I had never met him before. I had never seen videos with him. So I naturally, as a performer, I was a little hesitant to bring a writer, what I thought was a writer reporter, onto the show to be on the show. And Abe and Adam at the time both were like, no, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He can talk. And I remember having you on the first time, and I was like, all right, I can take a breath now. We're gonna be in good hands. And it really was a great match for all of us.
Well, thank you. And, you know, in fairness to your comment, Paul, I know that they had the old blogger corner, and some guys worked out and some guys didn't work out. Just the writers didn't translate to being on the air. I don't know if I still have done that, but I guess I'm okay. Right? But yeah, I remember that some of the bloggers would come on and they would be completely unprepared, some of these guys. And these guys aren't around anymore either. The ones who were unprepared, is what I'll say.
When we started it, there were no podcasts. When we started that whole concept, there were no podcasts. There were no videos.
Right.
We didn't know what anybody looked like. We didn't know what anybody sounded like. So we said, let's bring these bloggers and put them on the air because they write such great content. And then we put them on the air, like, oh my God, these guys can't talk. Some of these guys. It was like,
yeah, they have a personality of a wet rag.
Or they just get nervous. I mean, people get nervous.
It is tough. Yeah, it is hard. I think I remember my first appearance very nervous, to say the least. So, you know, but somehow I survived, right?
You're still here, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not in the parlor because I was in the middle. I was gonna set up in the parlor, but then you may have needed me early, so I had to stay put with the studio setup. People are
well. Thank you for doing that. What do you have? Is there any epic news this week that you can bring to the 400th episode?
Nothing epic. I wouldn't say there's anything epic this week. It was few cigars coming out. There's a CLE 25th anniversary cigar heading to the stores at the end of the month. That's going to be to celebrate Christian Eiroa's 25 years in the cigar industry. And that's going to be a Honduran Puro available in 4 press sizes. And one of those sizes will be the iconic 1118 size, which is that kind of figurado shape that's going to go to TA retailers. So you guys could be on the lookout for that. A couple of other new cigars, just folks out of Room 101. There's the Room 101 11th anniversary cigar. Not much details on that other than it's going to be an all Nicaraguan cigar in a figurado shape that is coming from an undisclosed factory. And the other news is one of the more successful Room 101 cigars prior to Matt kind of leaving Davidoff was the Big Payback Connecticut. That line is also making a comeback. So Matt's bringing back the Big Payback. And he's going to be making this Big Payback this time at Joya de Nicaragua.
Wow.
Yep. So that's what was this week. We're getting into a lighter stage of news now that we are heading into Thanksgiving. And I imagine the news cycles will pick up in December as the holidays come in. So we should look forward to that.
Cool. Well, not to stifle your journalistic skill set, Coop, is there anything you wanted to ask JD?
Yeah, that was my question.
Could JD, can you hear me?
You can't hear Coop?
No, he comes in and out. I can only hear you clearly, to be honest.
All right,
Abe, tell him I'll type it in the chat. And you
it's okay, I'll repeat it. What's the question you want to ask him, Coop?
So this year, Drew Estate seemed very, very prepared to deal with virtual events. They had COVID. They weren't going to the trade show. And I wanted JD's opinion on it. He's got to be very pleased how Drew Estate was very ready to deal with 2020.
So, JD, it's not you, it's Coop. He's got that 5-cent internet going on in his house. We're going to have to help him upgrade his internet. But
oh, jeez.
Coop wanted to know how you felt of your team's preparedness for COVID, because when COVID hit, it seemed like Drew Estate was the first company really to be ready to be out there and pivot at this and start reaching out and connecting to people virtually, in response to COVID.
Yeah, Coop's always got those insightful questions. My man is smart and on top of what's going on. And yeah, we definitely pulled some killer bees shit because, when you think about, one side of the picture that we've really spoke a lot about today is the beautiful side, the romantic side. When somebody's factory has a problem and they need a generator, you bring it there. Give them what they need. Or if someone needs tobacco when they ran out, you try and help them. And so there's that side of our business, which is really beautiful, and we all want to help each other as manufacturers, etc., and even in the U.S. side. But then there's the other side, which is the competitive side, right? And that's a whole different world. And it doesn't mean you have to be nasty and hate somebody or I'm gonna destroy it. It ain't all about that. It's about just winning. And Drew Estate, we're connected to our people. That's what's our superhero, right? I mean, I guess you could say, Drew Estate's diversity in the traditional, non-traditional infused brands makes them so unique, or they have so many different tastes for different things. I guess all of that matters. But when it comes down to it, we have to be connected to our people. We need that energy. And when we saw things progressing, negatively, globally, I was a little ahead of it because I was traveling probably 300 days a year. So I was already crazy. I went to the TPE trade show all gloved up and face masked up, and all the Cuban dudes laughing at me in Miami at the airport being like, JD, you're looking like an idiot. You're the only one on the plane with masks and shit. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, watch out. So when everybody was laughing at my stupid ass going to TPE, I remember everybody, oh, but look at it. It was all the plane was full with cigar people, everybody, probably 85, 90% of the plane. And I already was in the lab, and I was like, yo, this shit's coming fierce. I've been in Japan 4 times, in China many times, and all over. I knew it was coming. So we hunkered in, and Drew Estate played to its strengths. So what we had to do was be able to understand, we have strengths and weaknesses, and our strengths is certainly one of them is in our numbers, is in being able to set up points of distribution. It's all about points of distribution. Wu-Tang Clan, what they did from the beginning, RZA, when he busted the team apart, didn't put everybody on the same record label. They moved, Raekwon and Ghost onto one, and Method Man onto a different label, and GZA on a different. He spread them up so they could own the airwaves through a diversified distribution pattern. We do the same thing, because that's what we're based on, the Wu-Tang Manual. So when we looked at the way we communicate through the interweb, was to be able to not just fill the pipeline, but to bust the pipeline in half. We had to crack it. And the way to do that, we had to move fast. We had to move accurately and create a system that was going to be able for us to partner with our consumers and our retailers So we moved quickly into hyperdrive to be able to take advantage of our core competencies and reach the consumers and be able to listen to them, not just communicate, shooting your shit on their asses. You had to listen, letting them communicate back, and that, you know, that two-way ecosystem. We set it up quickly, and our team galvanized on the sales and the marketing side. And I'm glad you acknowledged it, because you know, it's been a lot of effort, and you know, so yeah, that's kind of what happened, Coop.
Yeah, it was a job well done. A job
Now
well
I can
done.
hear him. Now I can hear you good, buddy. Good to hear you. Good to hear your voice. I was just hearing a bunch of wah 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 before.
A job well done. I mean, and JD, you got to be excited about the next couple of years, because next year, for example, is Underground's 10th anniversary, and that's a milestone brand that Drew Estate launched in 2011.
Yeah, man. So let me know if I'm coming in clear, because it's starting to chop up. Is we're very excited about the next couple of years. One of the various things that we're really look. Drew Estate's been changing from the beginning. We're always changing. It's not about a sale. We're people over that shit now. It's that we're always in a state of progress, because that's Drew Estate. We're just not we don't stay put. It's just not our DNA. So, year after year, we bring the noise. We bring the new things. We're creating, and we strike out. Sometimes we do shit and be like, yo, when you saw the new Tesla truck, some idiot somewhere in his underwear was just like, yo, look at that stupid shit. Yo, JD getting that new Tesla, not a question, because that's the future. He's just put his mark. He said, look at the future. Here it is. It's so clear for us. It's identifiable. And now we're going to make sure that we own that, because, it's clear what it needs to be. So for us, and then sometimes it goes, oh, damn, you did everything right, and it still struck out. So, it's about taking those risks and not being afraid to strike out, not being afraid to worry, did I get it right? What you got to get is your heart right. So our brands and the new products that are coming out, that will come out over the next number of years, some of them are these kind of mind-blowing shits where right off the get, what's gonna kill it, rip the walls down. Other things is more experimental, that you might have had in the pipeline 5, 10 years, 12 years in your mind, and you might have started working on it, put it down, pick it back up. So we got the pipeline squared away. The pipeline is deep at Drew Estate. We have years and years and years into the pipeline at this point. So for 2021, all I'm going to say to you is this. Yo, the shit Drew Estate is going to drop in 2021, I'm just warning you, is stupidification. I'm telling you right now, like at this point, because as you can see how prepared we were with the, going live through our virtual events. Think of it now, how deep we are into our products that'll be coming out to the market, and where we were with that. Because at this point, when we buying tobacco, we're buying major level shit. So we come in with all sorts of buyers and agrometers and all sorts of people with, I can't even pronounce the motherfucking names, all sorts of experts and scientists and shit. And then you got, the delinquents behind it, us guys, the old crew who'll be like, yo, we want it more like this. We want it with that kind of taste. So it's Coop. 21's going to be ridiculous, off the chart with our products. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, I want to bring up, you talked about how much traveling you were doing at the time of COVID. And, one of the things we discussed early in the show is how hard that travel was early for you, where you were on your feet 9 hours and, somebody had to help you get in the car or whatever. Since the transition, have you been able to at least enjoy some of it, or do you still find yourself running full throttle all over the place?
Yeah, it's interesting question. Not what you would expect as an answer. So, after the sale, I was living in Nicaragua till 2014. So I was there from 1998 to 2014, full time in Nicaragua doing my thing. And I would come into the States, as you know, Abe. I might come in like once a month for 3 days, or once a month for 5 days, or skip 2 months and not come back. So for those 14, 15 years, I was in Nicaragua. Then after 14, I moved back to the United States to spend more time. My parents were getting older, and I was going through other stuff. So I moved back to the United States, and what I was doing was this. I started being on the road 300 days a year, 14, 15, 16, or 15, 16, 17, excuse me. I was on the road like 300 days a year, and then 18 and 19, 250 days a year. My father was traveling with me probably 250 days a year on the road. And, you know, it was city to city, man. It was like being, you know, on the, like, you know, LL Cool J or you know, Metallica on the road or whatever you're into from a standpoint. I compare music a lot, and you know, it was the traveling band, you know, and we would end up in a city, you know, and yeah, you know, things had changed. Your value systems changed. Used to be where I end up in a city, the first thing I made sure I had an ounce in my hand ready to roll some blunts. And, you know, through that time, a lot of changes happened to me, in just my value system changed. Things that were important to me changed. Art has become, you know, over the last 25 years, having 50 full-time graffiti artists in Nicaragua has always been major institutional part of Drew Estate's institutional core. But now it was also more personal, traveling to art shows, to working with Red Bull and being part of their operation in terms of, you know, major graffiti landmark. I'm talking, you know, people think about graffiti, some street art you get for $30 or $100. There's pieces out there, $1 million, $2 million, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that for me, you know, I think I got one of the largest collections in the world. For me is a big part of my daily. So traveling with the Drew Estate Band, and lots of times it's not even people who work and get a paycheck for the company. It's all these, you know, Detective Walk-In Chin or Roy or, you know, all of these characters jumping at Tom, all Navarro, all these characters, Matty Rott and Pete Totoro, you know, Cigars for Warriors, and traveling with them. Yo, a banging Porsche, yo, a banger just came by. One of the Targets, my preference. So traveling with the band and, you know, city to city, eating hamburgers. You know, one of the funniest things I was thinking about the other day, I was talking to my homeboy, is like, yo, some of these you know, dudes, my man Rocky Patel, you go out for dinner with him, you're going to get the steaks and maybe the turf and the triple turf, and you're going to have a $2,000 bottle of wine, you know. But with the Drew Estate dudes, with Blue Collar, it was like, yo, let's, you know, instead of inviting 4 people for a steak dinner, I say, like, yo, tail the whole fucking play. We're in Pittsburgh. We're going to take 50 people for cheeseburgers or 75 people for hamburger. We're going to go to the diner, take the whole diner over, tell the guy at the front door, yo, close the place, Greek diner. We did a lot of Greek and Arabic, Indian place. Just take the whole restaurant over. In Chicago, my stomping grounds. Abe, you know, that's very personal to you, but you know, Chicago is, Drew Estate worked from the inside out. We always worked differently. People thought we were like New York. So we work in New York, California, the coast. We didn't work like that. We worked from the inside of the country out, you know, upside down and inverse. So we started Chicago, Wisconsin, Kansas City, up to Oklahoma City, all those kind of places, Michigan, you know, shout out to the middle of the country too. So we were, you know, all of that combines, for me on a personal level, it was destructive. I was destroying myself. I'm very, very lucky right now to be alive. And numerous times I went into the hospital. I was constantly able to tell you, constantly staggering around on a cane or in the hospital, you know, different cigar fests, going to the hospital, or to go to Cigars for Warriors event, had to be brought to the hospital 2 times, numerous times in the hospital for my system shutting down and not sleeping and working too hard and carrying too much stress when I didn't need to be that shit, man. I'm a made man at this point. So this has been a balancing period now, a new JD, yeah.
Do you see a future? Is there a future or a version of JD's life where you kind of pull back from the public eye and maybe settle and not have this road trip, or do you feel that that's just who you are and you're not sure if there's going to be any other way?
That's such an interesting question. You know, I talked to my mom about this. She's like, you know, it took COVID for you to, because up to 2019, I was on the road 300 days, 280, whatever. And she was like, it took COVID for you to see, And the last 2 years I've been on a better personal awareness, self-awareness, personal health journey. But who's an inspiration for me and has been for many years for a variety of ways is Carlito Fuente. Not comparing or anything like that because he's Carlito and I'm JD, but he does things, he moves in a manner that's I kind of look up to him, and I always have. And I made a lot of business decisions early on watching him and his father and a lot of the various things that they've done in terms of how to brand their products from a standpoint of house of brands or branded house. And I kind of watch him and it's just like he understands the farm life and he understands factory life. Factory life's not about, I'm blending a cigar. No, yo, forget even the cigar. Factory life's about the dog falling through the roof, landing on a roller cigar table and getting his foot cut on the chaveta. And you got yelled at by the lady in Chapito who makes coffee in the morning saying, you let the dog on the roof. And the roof fell through the dog fell the fucking through the roof. So Gringo, you're going to... factory life's a different thing, man. So, it's about people and it's about, your dog falling through the roof and landing on a cigar roller. And, Carlito, he understands when he's sitting on the farm and I watch my man there and he's like, chilling on a farm somewhere and he's smoking his leaf and talk and smiling and, that balance. So right now, for me, what I've been able to do is look a little bit at him as a role model for that aspect of it and be able to, that's why I'm out here right now in New York, right? There's a reason I've been out here since July 14th and I'm kind of reestablishing myself with the water, reestablishing myself with where my parents raised me to understand the power of the water and salt water and the beach and the whaling, this life here, is some other shit right here. So I'm definitely transitioning, Abe. It's not a matter of slowing down because my mind is more powerful than ever. My mind is more powerful than it's ever been. And if you count me out, you'll be making a very big misstep. What I want to do is be able to slow down time.
Great way to put it. Slow down time.
I mean,
slow down time.
What better place to do it than where you're at? I mean, one of my favorite places in the entire world is out there. I mean, Sag Harbor and East is just like one day. That's where I see myself, sitting back and just enjoying life. But the fact that you're able to do it now and like take a moment and forced to do it now, right? Because we're all in that situation. But it's really like if you have to look at a positive impact on COVID and what's been going on in the world here, that is one of them, that we are all forced to sit back and kind of like watch our lives from a different perspective and forced to slow down a little bit, at least physically. JD's got a plane coming in.
Sorry if I cut you off, man. I'm struggling with the technology. Abe, did he finish?
Yeah, he's good.
So, man, I feel so terrible because I don't like cutting people off when they're speaking. But from the piece, it's about, at this point, right, Drew Estate. You got JD is one thing, and then Drew Estate's another thing. And there's obviously, the overlap. But, when you really think about it, right, all these dudes who started smoking cigars when they were 20, 21, 22, 25, whatever the legal age obviously was back in the day. I don't even know right now, the legal sides of everything. But the point of it is that now you got older heads who are smoking sticks, who've been smoking with Drew Estate for 20 years, 22 years, 23 years, whatever. And you got newer dudes and a lot of women smoking too, who they see Drew Estate and they see one thing. The older dudes been smoking Drew Estate and see another thing and remember another thing. And then Drew Estate got to look at both of those sets and maybe even one in the middle and be like thinking, so how do we speak to the people? How do we let them see what we're doing? How do we bring them into our world in a way where we're speaking the same language? it's not just a matter of, again, pushing. It's not pushing your will on a motherfucker. That ain't no good. But it's about basically that holistic viewpoint. So I think Drew Estate is evolving also in a very beautiful space as well. And I mean, it's not about, for Drew Estate, it's not about slowing down or slowing down time, but it's about, you talk for a minute because I got homeboy screaming and shit over here.
It's all right.
Well,
you can hear me clear?
Abe, yeah, we can hear you. But I think we talked about it on the show, Abe. I had smoked cigars before. I think a Toscano was my first ever cigar. I had smoked like Tijuana Smalls and things like that. But my first premium cigar was a Cuba Cuba, given to me by a friend of mine that was a cop. So acid played a role in my cigar journey at the very beginning for me. So it's a cool experience to have JD on.
It has been. Well, we're coming up to our closing minutes of the show. I want to squeeze in the Insane Asylum before we officially close our 400th episodes and do a little recap. So let me hit that right now. Let's see this week who belongs in a Cigar Insane Asylum. This week's inductee was so proud of his crimes that he had to brag about it. Frontel Antonio Baines, 31, who performs as rapper Nuke Bizzle, was arrested recently and charged with 3 felonies. If convicted, he faces up to 22 years in prison. Mr. Baines, who is from Memphis, lives in L.A., and used stolen identities to apply for unemployment benefits through California's Development Department Authority said. The money was distributed as part of a federal program that extended unemployment benefits to self-employed workers, independent contractors, or others who found themselves without a safety net during the coronavirus epidemic. The authorities said that 92 debit cards loaded with a total of more than $1.2 million in benefits were mailed to addresses that Mr. Baines had access to in Beverly Hills and Koreatown neighborhood of LA. In a music video for the song EDD that was posted to YouTube in September, Mr. Baines and another rapper, Fat Wizza, boasted about getting rich off of EDD, an apparent reference to the Employment's Development Department. The rappers brag in their video about their swagger for EDD while holding stacks of EDD envelopes and about getting rich by going to the bank with a stack of these. Mr. Baines also bragged about the scheme that in videos that he posted to his Instagram accounts, according to the affidavit. Well, congratulations, Mr. Bizzle and Wizza. You are without a doubt this week's inductees to the Cigar Insane Asylum. And this reminds me of another story that broke this week. A manager of Burger King got caught embezzling almost $35,000 in the last 12 months.
From one Burger King.
Now, you say, how could they not know $35,000 missing from a register, right?
Yeah.
It's not what he did. This guy made fake employees, hired the fake employees that were on actual payroll, whose then paychecks got deposited to his account.
You know what? Give him an A for effort there. That's not a bad
creative way to do it. But yeah, that was this week's inductee into the Cigar Insane Asylum.
So we do have one more pack to give away, right, Abe?
We do have one more pack to give away. I'm going to read off. This should be a layup. This question is a layup. You want to show that bag one more time? The
Yes.
52 beautiful package. But look at that. Look at that. Gorge, we've given away 2 of these already today, courtesy of JD and the fine folks at Drew Estate. There's a whole bunch of goodies inside that bag we showed earlier, if you haven't seen it. But here is a trivia question in tribute to our 400th episode. This is going to see who the hardcore fans are, because this is paying homage to the first crew, right? The first KMA crew was actually myself, Brandon the Mick Foster, and Lady M. That was the first KMA crew. So
I could not find any pictures of Brandon.
I might have some. I might have some somewhere, yeah. Because there was no video footage back then. I think Brandon only did about 13 weeks early on, very early.
And I don't think there was, or you didn't have a Facebook then.
No.
So
no.
So that's why I couldn't get any of the pictures. But if you see, I got Erica in there. I got all the girls that we've had on.
Yes,
Lady M, of course.
So, well, this question pertains to Lady M.
Oh boy.
So we'll see. Which of our KMA crew out there knows what Lady M's morning beer is?
What is Lady M's morning beer? I'm posting.
Lady M had a morning beer that she specialized drinking after a night of drinking. That was her morning beer.
Wow, that one's got
Coop, finally 1 out of 3. We stumped you, Coop.
Oh, this one's stumped me. I know it's in my head. I can't remember it.
John's on the path.
It's funny because now that we don't have Colin during COVID times, we used to talk about it all the time, and we have a winner.
I don't know. I don't know what Madeo beer is.
No way.
I don't know what Madeo is.
Oh, I guess that does not count.
I've never heard of Madeo beer.
Wait, I have the. All right, so then technically,
that's
Lawrence is the winner.
I mean, if we're gonna pay homage to Alex Trebek, may he rest in peace. Madeo didn't cut it.
Sorry, Alan.
Sorry, Alan. Lawrence, it is.
A lot of people saying Stella.
No, it was Modelo in the morning. Modelo was she was a Stella drinker, but Modelo was her morning beer.
That's right.
So congratulations to Lawrence Hendrickson. You are the winner of the third prize pack. We had 3 winners today: Curtis Critchfield, Quinton Nation, and Lawrence Hendrickson. You'll be taking home those bags courtesy of JD and the fine folks at Drew Estate. Listen, it's a pretty cool prize pack. Oh, now Alan's saying he corrected himself. Not on our news,
Alan,
not on our feed.
Alan, go get one from Santa Clara where you work, and you tell everybody Alan.
But which Modelo? I think it was. She doesn't drink Modelo Negro, so
she does, but Especial. It's Modelo Especial. We will accept Modelo as the answer, though.
I only drink Modelo Negro. I don't know why. I just really love that beer. I have some in my fridge.
Lawrence, you say you're doing backflips. I'm going to tell you what. Post a video of a backflip. I will send you an extra prize pack myself. From that humidor right there. I want to see. You don't look like a small guy, Lawrence. I want to see a backflip. Congratulations. So listen, I really want to give thanks to everybody, especially guys who put together that video. I know we talked about doing an outro for the show. I don't know if you guys did it or not, Paul, but if you don't.
We didn't, but I thought we'd close out with that video again.
I would love to see the show closed out with that video. I didn't, for anybody who came on in the second half and didn't get to see it, it's a wonderful tribute. I thank the guys for the work. JD, my brother, always a pleasure to have you, brother. It's an honor for you to be part of our 400th episode, my man.
Really?
And,
really.
Hopefully we'll get together soon and really catch up.
That would be great, guys. Congratulations on the 400th episode. All of your estate have been talking about it, and everybody's really proud of you guys. So congrats, and that video was fucking awesome, man. And thanks for having me today in Drew Estate. We love you guys, and bless, man. Best shout out to your family.
Again, my brother. Thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you.
We love having you. KMA wouldn't be the same without you on. And as the newest member, Alex, hopefully 500th episode.
500.
500, man. The road to 500. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy your families for Thanksgiving. Be safe. All right. Peace out and keep it lit. Here's the number 400.
We'll close with this video. Thank you, everybody.